I just want to welcome everyone to First National Bank Arena for today's press conference. I very quickly just want to walk everyone through this process. We're going to begin with opening remarks from Chancellor Kelly Damphus. We'll then hear from Vice Chancellor for Intercollegiate Athletics, Terry Mahajer, and then obviously Coach Daniel. Once we've heard from all of our speakers, at that point, we'll ask Terry and Coach Daniel to join us at the table, and then we will take a question and answer session at that point from the media and those in the audience. So it is my pleasure at this time to introduce Chancellor Kelly Damphus.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you. It's a big day for Arkansas State University women's basketball. I just had the chance to chat with Coach for a little bit before we got started today and to meet his lovely family, beautiful family, Jennifer, Steele, and Brett. They are almost as excited as we are. These kids are going to steal the show today. I just know it. They're a cute couple of girls, and so we're so excited about this new hire, a new addition to the AState family. I got a chance to meet with all the coaching candidates that came through. I was impressed by the quality of the candidate pool, but I was really impressed by Coach's passion for Jonesboro, for Northeast Arkansas, but especially for Arkansas State University, and his plans for where we go from here seem to be remarkable. I'm really excited about his leadership, and I know the team will be excited. There's a team over here. We really thought about you guys a lot as we're making this hire, and so we're excited about that. So, Coach, that being said, welcome to Arkansas State University.
Great crowd. Thank you for showing up today. We really appreciate it. It's another exciting day at Arkansas State, which we have many of those in the last few years. First, before I say a few comments, I want to just say thank you to, I'd like to get a round of applause, to Coach Boyer and his service here at Arkansas State. He represented this university, this athletic department, the women's basketball program, and serviced hundreds of young ladies from across this country that now represent Arkansas State that play in this women's basketball team. So we really appreciate him. Okay, what were we looking for in the next head coach? If all possible, we wanted a head coach that had Division I experience. We wanted someone to be excited about Arkansas State. We wanted someone to be excited to live in this community and to be a part of this community, be a part of the fabric of this community. We wanted someone that had no hesitation about being the head coach at Arkansas State. No hesitation at all. They were all in. We wanted somebody that was able to forge all kinds of relationships quickly with all key stakeholders, and that would be the staff, the administration, the high school coaches, the high school counselors, the community, the donors, the ticket holders, but most importantly, these ladies right here. Those are the ones here. Make no mistake, I know who I work for. I work for Arkansas State. But I serve at the pleasure of our awesome Chancellor, Dr. Damphus, and our great President, Chuck Welsh. But I know who I'm ultimately accountable for, and I believe that every single day. I work for these young ladies right here. I told you that, didn't I? I work for them. And these outstanding young ladies that represent us on that court all over the country, I work for them, and I'm accountable to them. So when I told them about the change, I sat down in the locker room and talked to them, first and foremost, about what they were looking for, the type of profile they were looking for. They told me they wanted to be coached hard. They wanted to be extremely competitive while having a personal relationship with their head coach. That was something that was very important to them. They had no profile of what the coach should look like, man, female, whatever it may be. But I received the message loud and clear that they wanted to be competitive. And they wanted to have success on and off the court consistently. So that was the first thing I did. I wouldn't leave Arkansas. We had some meetings down in New Orleans we were supposed to go to, and I wouldn't leave this campus until I first talked to them. So after that, within about 30 minutes, we started getting calls about the interest of this job. One thing I can tell you for sure, our national presence of Arkansas State, our brand continues to grow. I cannot tell you the amount of people that were interested in this job. We had about 50 serious candidates that expressed interest. We narrowed it down to about 15 that we had in-depth conversations. I had a search committee of Rich Savosic, Amy Holt, and then Mallory Perry, also, Mallory Kibler now. Sorry about that, Mallory. Mallory Kibler helped with this process, and of course, Dr. Danfus made himself available, and Chuck Welsh from a distance. Had about 15 in-depth conversations, serious conversations, reference checks and all, and we narrowed it down to 7 face-to-face interviews. And what started out as a good candidate quickly, in my mind, became a finalist based on the conversations that we had. Matt was a high school state champ at Jonesboro High School. He was Mr. Arkansas. He was a guard in the Big 8. I actually was in the Big 8 at the time. My wife actually cheered against him at the university when he was at Colorado. He was a head high school coach in the state of Arkansas. He was an assistant at a high-resource conference. He took over 2 fledgling Division I programs that had many challenges to overcome. He's a winner off and on the court. He will be the most experienced Division I head coach that we've ever hired for women's basketball. If you look at our profile, he'll be the 7th head coach, and he has the most experience at the Division I level that we've ever hired in the history of this school. Except for the fact that I think his dad opened up the yellow pages and started with the letter A and called everybody in Jonesboro. I assure you that he absolutely earned this position in the interview and in the part of the conversations that we had. I looked into his eyes very simply. I hate when I get emotional. I could see the relentless, burning desire to achieve something that has never been accomplished here before when I looked in his eyes. No other candidate could duplicate that, none whatsoever. He had passion for this program. He had passion for this community that could not be duplicated by anybody else. I often say that my job is to help our coaches, our head coaches, coach their coaches. But there's certain characteristics and passion that you can't coach. That's what I saw in this coach. More than any other coach we interviewed. It's contagious, it's energizing, and you'll soon find out. Having said all that, I'm proud to first introduce Jennifer, Brett, and Steele to our family. Excited for them to be a part of our family. And we're extremely proud to announce your new head women's basketball coach, Matt Daniel.
Before I get started, I'd like to thank the committee, Chancellor, President Welch, Terry, Rich, Amy, even Coach Bellato. I'd like to say thank you for considering me, first of all, and giving me this opportunity. My family, Jennifer, my wife, who's a dentist, who will commute to stay at work in Highland. Steele and Brett, who have extremely different personalities. You know, as we walked out, I could see former classmates, former teammates, former coaches, family and friends. That's a little bit overwhelming, but really enough about me. The reason I'm excited is because of these young ladies in the front. If you'll stand up, give them a round of applause. I just, so when the news broke on Friday, Terry and I had a conversation earlier, and we were trying to figure out how to handle it. And then by the time that I'd gotten in the car on the way back home, I called him. I said, it's out. And so we tried to get ahead of it. Had the first opportunity to meet with the girls this morning, young ladies this morning. Introduced them to my family and showed them that we were going to proceed as a family. I have a great appreciation for Arkansas State basketball in general, men and women. But on the women's side, I guess I'm the 7th head coach, but in my lifetime, it was Jerry Ann Winters, Jeff Mitty, and then Brian Boyer. And they've all been great ambassadors for the university and for the program. And those are big shoes to fill, all three. And I'm up for that challenge. And I'm proud to be an ambassador for this university, but I also take great pride in doing things that have never been done before at the institutions that I've taken over. Here, let's go to the NCAA tournament. It's plain and simple. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So I don't really prepare things when I speak. I just kind of say what's on my mind, and I thought I was going to have to keep my emotions in check today, but Terry let me off with that, so I'll just let it all hang out. When I was thinking about what to say, I really didn't know what to say. It's a unique situation. It's great to be home. So I thought I would share with you what I dream about. Here's what I dream about. First, for the student athletes. I dream about them working on their performance skills, who they are as a teammate, how they are viewed by each other. I dream about them working on their moral skills, who they are as a person, what they see in the mirror. We run a program where everybody can get rich. At Central Arkansas, we had 5 1,000-point scorers on the same roster. We want them to feel empowered and not play out of fear. I want them to play free, much like I was as a player. I dream of high fives and handshakes, both on the floor and in the crowd. I dream of a place where recruits want to come if they want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. I dream of a place that is only about team first wins, where the individual doesn't matter as much. I dream of a place where we don't have season ticket holders, we have season ticket attenders. I know that there are 2,637 seats in the lower bowl, and I say we start there. I think that is achievable. My last year at Central Arkansas, we opened up the season before we went to Marshall on a Tuesday night and then a Thursday night. We beat Indiana on a Tuesday night, turned around 2 days later and beat Alabama in front of 3,500 each night. So while my dreams are lofty, I don't think you're supposed to dream small. And I don't think you can achieve those dreams unless you talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to carry ourselves like this is what we're going to do. This is the plan. It's plain and simple. My role in all of that is to help them catch those dreams, to help you catch your dreams, because I want smiling faces in the crowd. I want a team that you can pull for. I want leaders that my daughters can look up to in the student athletes. That's how we will recruit. That's how we will play. Where do I fit into that? I want to be a dream catcher. I don't want to just chase it. There's only one way to do that. It is relentless attitude and relentless effort. This is not my town, my program. This is our town, our program, our community. And I can't do it by myself. Morgan can't do it by herself, and you can't do it by yourself. We've got to do it together, period. If we want to do things that have never been done before, we have to do things that have never been done before. And that comes with unconditional love, unconditional support, and blind faith. It's not on the good days. It's not when we're up by 30 or we're on a winning streak of 3 games. It's when we're on a losing streak of 3 games that we need you now more than ever. It is a new day. There is a new energy, and there is a passion that will not be matched by anyone in the country for Arkansas State. It will not be matched. There is not a college coach in the country that wants basketball in the city of Jonesboro and on this campus to be more successful than I do. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've experienced it as a player in this arena, and it's the place that I feel most at home. I look forward to the challenge. Life may be tough, but it's not complicated. Play hard and act right, and that's what we plan on doing. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Kelly. At this time, we would like to do the question and answer session with Coach Daniel and with Terry. The way we would like for this to operate is we would like to ask media members to ask their questions first. Once we've heard all the questions from the media members, then we will open it up to everyone in the entire room. Media members, just so Coach Daniel has an opportunity to get to know you, we'd like to ask you to state your name and your affiliation and then your question. So with that, we'll take questions for Coach Daniel or Terry.
Hey, Matt, Jeremy Muck, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. You've been out of coaching for 2 years. Why now? Why is now the right time for you to get back into the game?
Well, I've had these conversations with several people, whether to get back in, whether not to get back in. I didn't get out of coaching to get out of coaching. I got out of coaching because I would rather be rooted in Northeast Arkansas than anywhere else. But I had to accept the fact that I might never get the opportunity again. But if you look at it, and you can look at coaches across all sports, football, men's, women's basketball, professional sports, and there's a renewed energy. I'm rested and ready. I'll give you another example. Most coaches that would have been interested in this job may have, and I don't know who the candidates were, but I know that they were quality candidates because I can tell you this, they vetted. They did a great job vetting. And Dad did open up the yellow pages. We just wanted to show that we could have a community of support. There you go.
Start with the letter A.
Yeah. Well, we started with a D probably because of Daniel.
Family first.
That's right. But I've had a chance. Most coaches reflect on their previous season. I've had a chance to reflect on the previous 9 years, and I've had a chance to do it for 2 years. So coaches are always learning. We're still on ideas. So I've studied this roster. I haven't had to worry about a previous roster, and I'm rested and ready to go.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Matthew Schwartz, KIT. I was just going to ask, being a hometown guy, is that pressure of succeeding in your hometown, is that something that you're going to worry about or be in the back of your mind at all? Is that something that's important? Obviously, I would think it's important to you.
It is hugely important, but I don't view it as a disadvantage. I view it as an advantage. Homegrown's hard to beat. And I take a lot of pride in recruiting locally and boxing out the competition, but I've made a living proving people right or proving people wrong as a player, as a coach. So we're just out to prove something. But I'm completely comfortable under that heat lamp. And it's not something that I crave that. I don't run from that. It's fight or flight. I'm a fighter. And I have no problem with that challenge and being under that microscope.
Do we have any more questions from the media members?
Keith Merritt, East Arkansas Broadcasters. What are you going to do about building your staff at this point?
Yeah, so I just got the news on Friday that I was going to be the next head coach. But I've had 2 years to watch assistant coaches and those things as well. And so we're in the process of sorting through that. I don't know exactly what that looks like. You have to consider a lot of different things, whether people want to be a part of it, because I think fit's hugely important. I think when Terry was hired, fit mattered. I think when I'm hired, fit matters. I think that when we recruit, fit matters. And so that's one of the main things that I'm going to look at. But I also want a sense of loyalty and relationships. I crave those relationships because you get it. You're in the dog days and you're riding buses together, and you go to war together. And I want to make sure that it's people that want to go to war with me, not that just I want to go to war with them. And so we're in that process. It won't be an overnight quick fix, but we're working pretty diligently.
And Coach, you sort of touched on it just a moment ago, but talk about the importance of recruiting in Northeast Arkansas and then the whole state of Arkansas as a whole. Obviously, this is a state that loves their basketball really at any level. So
Sure.
You just want to touch on that a little bit more about recruiting locally and then Arkansas as a
Right.
whole.
So I believe in educating our own. I think that has nothing to do with basketball. We were the same way at Central Arkansas. We were the same way at Marshall. And I think there is great talent here. And I would like to keep it here. But I also want to make sure that the talent here fits here. Because if they don't want to be here, we want people that want to wear Arkansas State across their jersey. I think that I would take less talent and more pride in the uniform because I think you can get more out of that. I think it helps in every facet. I think it helps in attendance. I think it helps in as they graduate and they become donors and investing back in the community. I think it's a complete cycle. And you're a West Virginia guy. I mean, if you've done your homework, you know that we did that at Marshall as well. And, we had the number 52 recruiting class in the country and the number 34 recruiting class in the country, and most of it was with local kids. So we did the same thing at Missouri when I was an assistant, and you can do it. Number 25 recruiting class, number 24 recruiting class, something like that, and number 31. So you can do it with local kids, and that's the plan. But we want to go wherever the talent is because he's made it pretty clear we want to win games. So that's the plan. That's what the plan will be in place.
Matt Randy Myers, East Arkansas Broadcasters. Talk about the style of basketball that you plan to play.
I don't do anything slow. My wife and I, we didn't date very long before I proposed. I prefer an up-tempo style. We're really organized within our staff, and we do that because, quite honestly, the programs that I've taken over before this were not as good a starting positions as I think Arkansas State is right now. So I don't want to play slow. We will play slow if we have to, but at Marshall we scored 127 points in a game. It was against the non-Division I opponent, but sometimes you can't get them to do that in practice 5-on-0. So I prefer to play fast. As a matter of fact, if we get to playing too slow, I sit down because I get bored. And I think it's more fun to play in. I think it's more fun to cheer for. I think it's more fun to play against. I think it's more fun to officiate. And I'm about having a good time. If I didn't think I could have a good time doing this, I wouldn't do it. And we're going to have a good time here. And I told them when I met with them, it'll be the hardest thing they've ever done. But it will be for the best feeling they've ever had. They won't appreciate that until long after they leave. But we've only got them for a very small percentage of their life, depending on what their life expectancy is. I learned that in the insurance business. So we want to make sure that we have an impact, a positive impact, and I want to make sure that they have a good time, as good a time as we possibly can. I hated college as a player. I hated it as a student athlete. And that's one of the reasons that I knew I wanted to be a college coach, because I wanted to give them a much better experience than I had. And so that's our goal. And they want to play fast too, most of them. They want to play fast. They might not want a condition to play fast. But we'll work through that.
Do we have any more questions from the media? Okay, so we've got 2 wireless mics, 1 on each side of the room. If you have a question for Coach Daniel or Terry, if you'll just raise your hand, then we'll try to get the mic to you as quickly as possible so you can ask your question. Coach, this may be an easy crowd.
Most of them are family.
Do we all have any questions from the audience?
Where's
Check
all the
one more
Twitter
time.
people hiding? Come on, right here, let's go.
Okay. Oh, okay, here we go.
How about a statement? Not a question.
Statement.
We love you, Matt. Thank you for being here, and we've come a long way, honey, and we love you.
Thank you.
Thanks for Jennifer and the girls also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to conclude the press conference. Again, we appreciate everyone being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you to Terry. Thank you to Coach Daniel. Thank you to Kelly. And thank you to the entire Daniel family. Everybody have a great day.
Great.